All right, welcome to Themes and Tropes. My name is Morgan, and we are going to search NoveList Plus with the idea in mind that we're looking for particular themes or tropes. And there are multiple ways of getting the books that you want based on this type of search. So with themes and tropes, the main idea is that when people read books, they like to read what they like to read. There are certain patterns or plot points that we like to see, and then there are certain other ones that we don't like seeing. And so the result is that we want to help you find books based on something that engages you, something that you like to read, and then also something that makes you feel like this is a great book and it's something that you are happy to have spent time reading. So we're going to focus on how to locate definitions of the themes, how to search for particular themes, and then how you can refine your results once you get those selected themes that you'd like. So according to NoveList Plus, themes broadly summarize key plot points, and while they might seem the same, we would actually consider genres and themes different from one another. So here's an example: theme versus genre. Genre is a category of material that you like. So for example, I like all kinds of mysteries. That's my preferred genre. But a theme really refers to the major aspects of the plot. So for example, I don't typically like romance novels. That's just not my thing. But romance is a genre. However, if there is a romance novel where the two people start out as friends and then they fall in love, I'm like, okay, I can give that a shot. I would read that. But if they start out as enemies and then fall in love, no, thank you. I will not be reading that. Not going to happen. And this allows you to kind of parse through some things you may want to read, and then you may not want to read. It also gives you an opportunity to read some things that may expand what you typically read genre-wise. So you might not read a lot of romance, but maybe there is one theme or trope that you don't mind in romance and you're willing to read outside your typical preferred genre if it's got that theme. So we can talk about the ways that you would find that as well. So things to know before you search: not all books are going to be associated with a particular theme. Not all age groups have the same themes available. So there will be themes that you can see in teen literature and adult literature, but you might not see in like preschool age books. And then some themes can be combined with other themes, but you want to keep in mind that this will dramatically limit your choices. So one of them might be considered like small town horror and home again. Those are both themes in NoveList Plus, and there are a couple of books that would fall into both categories and have both themes. But it really, the more themes you add, the more things you add to your search will narrow those results. So just kind of keep that in mind. So first we'll talk about how you find NoveList Plus. You're going to go to the library's website. You'll click on the tab for databases, A to Z listing. You'll select the letter N and then scroll to NoveList Plus. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And then I'm going to walk you through how to find the themes that you are looking for. All right. So let's go over here to the library's website. And you can see here we're at the library's website, and there's the link there for you in the chat. And we'll click on databases, and then we'll go to A to Z listing. Now with the all databases, it's going to do a drop-down menu. You'll see all the letters of the alphabet here, and then we'll click on N for NoveList Plus. And there it is right there, NoveList Plus. So we will click on that, and it will allow us to get into this database and then start searching for books. Now, if you are off campus at any point and would like to try to access this database, you will have to log in through Portal first. And then once you log in through Portal, you'll be able to interact with this database as you see fit. Okay, so for themes, you're going to come up here to Browse By, and there'll be a drop-down menu. All you need to do is hover your mouse, and then there will be themes right there. And when you select themes, it will open up into a description of what themes are, some popular themes, some things that they have kind of curated, or you can search based on a certain genre or topic. So you can click any one of these, and underneath any one of these, there will be a set of themes. So let's click on mystery and suspense in this case. So you'll see here, they will describe the genre that you've picked out. They'll give you a little bit of an idea of what the genres or what the genre's themes will be and what you can kind of expect. And then you'll get a whole list of all of these things that will then describe to you what each one is about. So you have things like Sherlock Pause, which I think is great. So you'll get a description, and then you'll also see where that theme is located. So you've got Sherlock Pause. These detectives really keep their noses to the ground. Animals help solve mysteries or help out their humans in investigations. So that can be found in adult, teen, and ages 9 through 12 books. If you find a theme that you really like, you can then just click on it. It's already linked, so you don't need to actually search for it yourself. Just click on what you are interested in, and it'll take you right to a list of books that's going to have the theme that you selected. Now, when you click on that link, it's going to have all of the books that are in that theme. So you will want to narrow it down based on what you're looking for. So you'll see here you have you can limit your audience. You can limit the year that it was published, and then click update your results. And then that will help you to narrow down a little bit more so that you can focus on things that you are interested in reading. You can limit by fiction or nonfiction. And then you've also got genre, theme, character, storyline, tone, that kind of thing. These are really just ways of narrowing the results a little bit more. But if you really did not want to read something that was too scary, you maybe didn't want to read something suspenseful, and you just wanted to focus on what was heartwarming, you could then narrow it down even further. So that is one way to find themes in NoveList Plus. Now, there are a ton of themes. So when we go back to Browse By and then the themes, you will see that under each genre, there are lots of options for you. It can be hard to find all that you are looking for, but the great thing about this is that some of the themes actually cross over. So you have like Home Again. That actually can be found under a couple of different ones, a couple of different genres, but it may be that you just want to take some time to kind of explore what you think you might be interested in. So there are a lot, and it can be a little overwhelming, but I'll give you some tips for ways that you might be able to identify things that are a little bit more focused on what you're looking for. So maybe it's not so overwhelming. Once you know, though, what type of theme that you are looking for, like let's say here, Test of Faith. Now we can click on this link and it's going to take us right to the list of books. But let's say that you know your theme, you know exactly what you're looking for, and you just want to come back to NoveList Plus over and over again and just look for books under that theme. Then you don't want to have to go through the whole process of going to browse by themes, Christian fiction, and then getting to your selected theme. So once you know what you like, when you are on the home page of NoveList Plus, so you get into the database, you're here in the home page, you can just come up here to the search bar and type in TH, and then whatever theme it is that you're looking for. So in this case, we were doing Test of Faith. So TH, Test of Faith, and then it will take you right to those books. So TH is kind of your code for getting directly to what it is that you are looking for. So does that make sense? Are there any questions about that, or about how you would find the themes or things that you might be interested in? Yes, there is so much good stuff here, and it can really help you to find things that are similar to other things that you've already read that you really enjoy. It will increase your reading list, though, because you'll see the kinds of things that you just really want to read. And so one thing I will say is that there is so much stuff out there. You might think, well, I'm kind of overwhelmed. I don't really know what to pick or where to start. So I'm going to go ahead and give you some ideas. So here are my top themes for books that I like to read. I like to read about road trips, books about books, and comedy of manners. The way I found this was I looked back at my top 10 favorite books, and I made some notes about things that happened in the books that I really liked. And then I went looking in NoveList Plus to see if there were any themes that would match. It did take me a while, but I was able to find the ones that I was looking for. And then I also looked up the books that I liked and saw if they were associated with any themes. And these are the ones that really came to the forefront. That can be a lot of work. However, if you're interested in finding your themes, you're just like, I really don't want help picking books. I want you to just help me figure out what themes I'm interested in. Then you can always email me. You can say, look, here are my top 5, top 10 favorite books. I really loved these books. Here's what I liked about them. And then we can investigate to see, oh, you may want to try searching for fill in the blank as a theme. And the main thing is that you might try one search and it doesn't work. You might try another search and it might not work. But we will find what works so that you can get the books that you want. And once you find the books that you want to read, then the library can help you get a hold of them and help you feel like, you're finding more and more things that you want to read and more things that bring you joy as you read. So feel free if you have any questions about this presentation, but also you're just wanting some help finding what your themes are and what your books that you love have in common, then we can definitely work together on finding those themes for you. And then you can always contact me through email or by phone. I'm going to give you the link. If you would like some book recommendations, you can definitely, yes, that is a great point. This can also be very useful for book challenges. So if you're not sure where to start, but you kind of have an idea in mind, we can definitely match what your idea is with a theme to see if that kind of pushes you in the direction you might want to go. Here is the book recommendation form that you can fill out. You're welcome to fill that out and just say, look, I'm looking for some books and the themes I want to read. We can definitely fill it out that way. And then all of this information will go on this guide here, but I will continue to update that guide right there with books that we get from our purchases or that we have had donated. And I'm going to include some suggestions on books that share certain things or have ideas for how you can find books that you like based on theme.